So with a CD like we just talked about, there's that's got a typo in it. That should be effective, not effectice. That's not even a word. There's this thing called effective annual yield. When you set up these savings account, I'm sorry, these CDs, and they compound your interest. So you might have like an 8% interest rate, but because of the way it's compounded, you actually earn back more than 8% of your money. Okay, you get 8% of your money, and then they add that into your account, and then they calculate again and again and again and again, and it just kind of snowballs. So what this does is it lets you go back and find the real percent of money that you earned. That way you can compare investments a little bit more on a level playing field. So just because you're investing something at a higher rate doesn't mean you're going to get a higher rate of return if another investment is compounded more frequently. So what I mean by that is something with like a 9% interest rate might actually earn you something less, earn you less than something with like a 7.5% interest rate if the 7.5% interest rate is compounded, say, monthly, whereas the 9% one is compounded quarterly. Okay, because this was being calculated more often, you might wind up getting more money out of it. So this kind of gets you a level playing field to compare investments. What am I actually going to get at the end of this term? Okay, the math isn't super hard. We will need that table from yesterday. So this is called the effective annual yield. How much did we actually earn? So what we're going to do is we're going to have to calculate the interest that we earned on the investment like we did yesterday. And then we're just going to divide that by the original principal. And that will tell us what the real percent that we earned was. The percentage of the money, not the percentage being paid back. It might be close. It might be a lot better. Okay, so anyway, just keep this in mind. We're going to take the interest and divide it by the principal. All right, so first things first, we need to be able to calculate the interest. So this table is in here again. It's super small. You may not be able to see it in the video, but it's a lot bigger in the assignment. So you'll be able to see it then. So Randall invests $5,000 in a CD for 3 years. Okay, the CD earns an annual interest rate of 9.25 compounded quarterly. So I'm going to highlight a couple of things here. 9.25 compounded quarterly. Now I realize it says for 3 years, but what this effective annual yield does is it figures out what it is for 1 year. And at the end of that 1 year, you know which one's a better deal. So to calculate his interest earned, we're going to take his $5,000 times that 1.09 is small, 0.95758. Okay, so I'm going to use my calculator on my computer so you guys can see it here. I'm going to take 5,000 times 1.095758. Okay, so he's going to earn back $5,478, and I believe it said, I got a lot of stuff going on here. Yep, 79 cents, so 0.79. So to calculate his interest, I'm going to take that 5478.79, and I'm subtract off the 5,000. So his interest earned was 478.79. So to calculate his effective annual yield, I take the 478.79 and I divide that by the original $5,000. Now, here's why I wanted to use my computer calculator, because I want you guys to see this. Okay, 478.79. Whoops. Divided by 5,000. Okay, so that is 0.0957, blah, 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 right? So I'm going to turn this into a decimal point. I'm going to take that and move it 2 places to the right, so between the 9 and the 5. And then I'm going to round these to the nearest hundredth of a percent. So these are actually going to have 2 decimal places in them. So 0.0958. So 9.58%. Okay, we'll do one more real quick. I need that table again. I forgot to copy it. Sorry about that. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find out how much money they made and then figure out their effective yield. All right, so we got $10,000 this time. 10,000, 8.75 compounded monthly. 8.75 compounded monthly is right here. So I'm going to take that 10,000 times 1.09 0.095. Okay. So 10,000 times 1.091095. Okay, 10,910.95. I think I have room to squeeze that in here. 10,910.95. Double check that. Yep. I hate this tab stuff. Okay, so their interest earned was $910.95. I'm going to divide that by the original 10,000. 910.95. 910.95 divided by 10,000. Okay, again, so two places to the right. So that is going to be 9.11%. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, why? What's the point? Okay, so the CD's rate is 8.75%, but like I was saying, because of the compounding, that is if he were to have invested this at 9.11% of simple interest, which is just compounded once at the end of the year. So that kind of levels the playing field, and you can compare that to previous investments. So kind of neat. 8.75% isn't really 8.75%.